Shabbat Shalom, family. I'm going to tell you about a dream that the Most High gave me. And I hope this dream edifies the listener and viewer in some small way. All right, I'm going to give thanks to the Most High right now. Most High, I ask that you bless this message and make it so that the listeners and the hearers can receive it and be edified by it. I give praise in the name of Yahusha HaMashiach, he who saves, the doorway. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. So now in this dream, I'm in a house. I'm in the back of the house, and I'm looking out the back of the house. There are others in there with me. So basically, the way the dream is set up, there are other nations because they were like the different animals. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you a dream. So in this dream, I'm coming to the screen door in the backyard. In this backyard, it's a beautiful field, And if you hunters or outdoorsmen will know, when you see a field like this, it's almost like a wheat field, but it's just, or a meadow, and it's just wild, soft grass. And all the grass had been laid down. And I just kept thinking in the dream, I was like, wow, I just want to take my boots off and walk in this field. And the way the field was set up, it was, you came out of the house, went down like a little 6-step landing, and then you came to this wide field. It was wide as far as the backyard was. It was like a big backyard, and it extended way to this field, and it widened out into this field. It was an endless field. In the middle of the field, it was a patch of straw or high grass or like corn, and it was like in a circular motion, like the tractor had mowed around it and made a perfect circle of corn in the center. And now this was at night. This dream happened at night. In the dream, it was night. I was looking out, and I was looking at this beautiful field with this circular patch in it. And it was so bright, the light, the moonlight. I actually thought it was I was in a stadium. That's how bright the light was. The moonlight, or the light, or whatever light it was so bright, it looked like I was at a professional sports event. So I'm looking at the light, I'm looking at this field, and I'm thinking, wow, I just want to take my boots off and walk in that field. It was so soft and beautiful looking. Every time I would come to the door, there would be something in the midst of the field that would not allow me to come out of the house. Every time I come to the field, every time I come to the back of the door, there would be this presence like, oh, you better not come out, or you better not come out. So I just stayed in the field. I just stayed in the house and looked out at the field thinking, man, I would really love to be in that field. Now, there were others in the house with me, and I came to the door twice. And every time I came to the door, this presence would be out there telling me to stay in the house. It never said anything, but that's what I was like, I'm not going out there. Now, the third time I went to the door, there was something else in the house with me. And it was one of the same things that was in the field. I didn't know this at the time. But when I went to the door for the third time, that other thing was like, I'm not having this. And it went out and it meant that other thing in the field, they were locked in such mortal combat that you could not get a razor between them. They were barely moving, but they were embraced so tight. There was just grinding and moaning and just thrashing. They were in such an intense battle that I could have easily walked by them, and they were so enthralled with each other that they would not have noticed, because that's exactly what happened, but not at that point. So I was just amazed at looking at these two beasts just having at each other. I mean, they were just locked in there, so fierce and intense. So then at that point, there was something like a lion or a cat that then came through the field, that came through the backyard. And at that time, there was another one of those animals that came out of the house too, to try and intercept the tiger or lion or whatever it was. So they got into a big battle. When they got into a big battle, there were 4 animals in the field. 3 of them were alike, and 1 was a foreign animal. And the other animal that was in the house with me came out and hooked up with that cat or lion or whatever it was. And they were in a death brawl as well. And at that point, everything that I had been feeling about not wanting to go outside, it all left me. And I walked right through those animals fighting. They were in such a rage and intense battle that none of them ever noticed me walking by to this huge endless field with this circle and this bright light. So that's what I was doing. I just walked out of the backyard, walked into this amazing field, and I remember in the dream thinking, I'm not getting involved with this. I'm not getting involved with this. This doesn't have anything to do with me.
Please, will you wait 1 minute to save worlds?
Not my fight.
So, you will leave us to our fate.
And I just walked right through it, and I went to this beautiful field with this circular shape of forage and this godly bright light. And that's when I woke up. So in my dream, or now that I'm interpreting my dream, I see that it's the thing that was in the field stopping us from coming outside was the government. And the people inside the house were the people in this country that are now protesting about this stay-at-home order or this lockdown. They had gotten to the point to where they just were not going to follow these instructions and stay in the home, which I did. I stayed in the home. I stayed in. They all went out and started a civil war with the government. It was so intense that another nation had come in and tried to invade the United States. The army that was left, or the available men that were left, tried to fend off the invasion from this cat or this lion or whatever it was. It was some kind of feline. And they were in an intense battle too. So you had civil unrest with the government. They were warring like crazy. And then you had this invasion coming in, and what was left was trying to fend off this cat or tiger or whatever it was. I don't think it worked out too well for either of them. But for me, which I say the nation that, the Hebrew nation, we just walked through it. It wasn't our fight. It wasn't our fight. And we went to the designated place that we were supposed to go to, and it was safety there. That's the dream. And that's the way I'm giving it to you. All praises to the Most High. Shabbat Shalom.